Today on Co-op for Two, a quick spoiler-free review of Detective for a Day, the cult member killings. Who's this cold case game for? Let's find out. Okay, let's start with some facts. This is a cold case game from Norway, part of a set of 4 that range in difficulty from easy to hard. You can pick this up directly from the website for about $36 including shipping, or perhaps you can save if you buy a bundle. This case is rated as, I think, a 4 out of 5 or a hard case. And I think that's right, it is a hard case. It will take you about, I think, 2.5 hours to play. You can watch our full long playthrough, which probably took us 6 or 7 hours to play through. There is some real internet use in this case, periodically to answer questions and move along, but also for some multimedia and for the solution. You won't replay a game like this, but nothing gets destroyed, so you could pass it along, sell it, trade it, etc. All right, I want to quickly skim through the documents you get, so you get some idea of the quantity and type of documents you get. If you're super sensitive to spoilers, you could use the timestamps to jump ahead, but I'm not going to show anything you wouldn't get here through a quick glance. Got a sort of summary of contents, newspaper. We've got some photos, lots of witness statements, bank statements, a beautiful little poster here, more highly produced brochures, a little cartoon, more phone records, photographs, lots more police statements, witness statements. Again, more police documents. Then we've got some photographs, and then we've got a bunch of envelopes that you will be instructed when to open as you proceed through the case. So that gives you some idea. I would say more than most cold case games. And you might say this is longer and harder than most cold case games, which is really the central positive element here, that it's hard to find a difficult cold case game. You can imagine the market shrinks as they get more and more difficult. And there are only a small subset of us who really like the hardest, longest of these cases. And this is up there. The documents are dense. They really require you to go through them carefully. You cannot be sloppy in this game. If you are, you will miss things. If you watch our playthrough, you can see we slept on this a little bit. We didn't take it as seriously as perhaps we should have. And we made a couple mistakes. But that's a good sign. There is an interesting story here, an interesting set of characters. It is well written. It is well translated into English. There are subtle evidence to chew on, and it does reward serious thought. And you could see yourself, the production quality is high. There's some cool multimedia elements to this game as well. Now, it's not perfect. I did have some complaints as we played. Maybe complaints that would fall into a couple categories. One is a common complaint when games are a little bit cartoonish, a little bit far-fetched, but you know my position on that. I'd rather have a game that really makes us debate and think about ways to explain stuff that's difficult, and if the ending is a little far-fetched, I'd rather have that trade-off than a case that's too straightforward. I did think there were also pieces of the evidence here that felt a little unfair. Unfair in terms of what you were supposed to conclude from them, or stuff that was a little hard to pick out or make sense of. There's some phone call thing that sort of missed for us. So I don't think you're going to have a perfect experience here. On the other hand, someone recently asked me to recommend particularly hard cold case games. and it's hard to think of any. There aren't many. There are some Cryptic Killers games that are rated at the highest level of difficulty, but I would put this one up there. I think if you're an experienced player and you're looking for a real challenge, this might be the ticket. And it is very high quality. I think especially if you buy the set of these from Detective for a Day, you might be in store for some serious detective work. So, a final rating, I guess I'd give this an 8 of 10. Not as clean an experience, not as perfect as experience as some of the cold case games we've played, but it gets an extra point for being difficult and a longer experience. There are hints. I suggest you consider using the hints if you get stuck. And if you play this game, I'd love to hear from you. I've got three more of these for us to play. This was the first one we played. And the only one I'm skipping is the easy one, but there are some medium and another harder one, or maybe 2 other medium ones that I'm curious to get into. If it sounds like something you'd be interested in, you might want to try joining us live for that stream. Let me know if you like it, and I'll see you on the next video.